Folks, thanks for joining us today. My name is John Dubas with Premier Marketing, and we'll be spending the next 50 minutes or so discussing one of the resources that you have as part of your contract with United Healthcare in helping you market and retain business within this sphere of influence. For many of you, you recognize that United Healthcare is one of the preeminent carriers in the Medicare Advantage world, and utilizing the tools that they offer can not only help us in selling more additional business with this carrier, but also give us the opportunity to retain more business as well. And you'll see on the screen, we've got kind of a split here today, a little different than some of the things we've done in the past, because we're going to do a live demonstration here in just a moment. You will note that in the software system, there's a section for both questions and chat. Please put your questions in the questions section. We find that we answer them many times through the course of the presentation, but we want to make certain that you have the detail you need to take full advantage of today's presentation. Today's presentation is being recorded and will be available on our website at premiersmi.com and on our YouTube channel as well. And so, let's make certain we don't time out there. On our YouTube channel as well, and your marketer within Premier will have the link for you too. We will be sending out some follow-up, including access to the recording, so you can go back and review some different things. I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff at you here pretty quickly. A little bit of level set to start with Premier Marketing itself. We're our national marketing organization founded in 1968, part of the Integrity Marketing Platform, with offices across the country. We offer insurance services to the public through independent insurance agents such as yourself, with contracts at the highest possible commission levels and recruiting contracts available to those that qualify. And we do so through a full portfolio of products. So the base Medicare programs, the Medicare Advantage, MedSup, PDP programs are there for you, along with life insurance and annuity products, final expense life insurance, pre-need plans, long and short-term care programs, disability income plans, and those ancillary benefits such as dental, vision, hearing, critical illness cancer plans, hospital indemnity, accident, and telehealth programs. Portfolio of Medicare Advantage plans includes the national carriers, including our feature carrier today of United Healthcare, make you successful in your market, not only with the national carriers, but some of the strong regionals in your area as well. Same philosophy carrying over into the PDP programs, where those prescription drug plans are normally available through the same contract you have for MA. Except for Mutual of Omaha, it's a separate contract than anything else that they offer. And Clever RX is actually a discount program and not a sanctioned PDP program. MedSups, well, one of them comes with the contract that you have with United Healthcare, but you have a great variety of programs that are available here as well. And we have programs set up to help you be successful in this space as well. Ancillary products, each category. National leaders there for you. Great way to market additional means of marketing, some things that are less regulated in different areas, but it also satisfies that need of your customer first and foremost, but also creates a revenue stream for you and your agency. When we look at Medicare overall, one of the reasons we deal with this is it's such a huge market. And when you look at folks aging in, you hear the aging of the baby boomers, the silver tsunami, one every 10 seconds, 10,000 plus a day. Can I talk any faster? I'm trying. But it's near an exponential growth. We're at the tail end, getting to the tail end of the baby boomers. And we're seeing that a few of them are working past the age of 65 for one reason or another. Well, pandemic has some influences there where they reassess life values or whatever it happens to be, continue to work because of economic stress. Some folks like me in the tail end of it, well, in order to get full Social Security benefits, I got to go to 67 to get my full retirement out of Social Security. So there's one reason or another that's there, but having tools to help reach the market across the board is important. And that includes the 15 to 17% of the folks on Medicare that are under the age of 65, medically disabled and accessing their benefits. So having some different campaigns to reach out to these key niche markets can really help us. And that's part of the reason we're going through today's presentation, because we want to handle all the choices that they have. And they can do, Medicare beneficiary can do whatever they care to do. They can decline Part B even if they choose to. Thankfully, most don't. But in each of these categories, Are we marketing to a segment that requires a specific message? And if so, how can we reach into that community for the folks that just want to add Part D and self-insure for the shortfall in the medical expenses, or the folks that want to do a standardized Med Sup or bundle into a Medicare Advantage plan? Today we discuss a carrier that can help in all these areas, and how we can reach out to the community is important because it's fairly even split. We want to make certain that we're reaching as many people as possible, and do so because, hey, they have specific needs. And because of this, it creates an opportunity for us to use different approved material that can reach into whatever our target market is within the Medicare community. And that enables us to vary our approach. It enables us to offer multitude of systems or support to our community. And so we got a whole bunch of different things that we can do that can make us, well, our subject matter expert in our area, but also comfortable with the approach of reaching as many people, getting them to respond, particularly in a time period where we've got to translate some different things. Now, keep in mind, this is an acronym guide brought to us by Medicare Learning Network. And they push us, when you click to this, it'll take you to the CMS guide, so we can translate the different language that's coming to folks across the board and make certain they understand why we're reaching out and how we're able to help them based on a specific need. It also reminds us to say that, hey, we need to minimize the use of acronyms so people understand our language. AEP, IEP, MOUSE, whatever it happens to be, we want to make certain that we're communicating properly and people understand what we're saying as well. And that's because a whole bunch of folk out there just aren't reviewing their plans year over year. Doesn't matter what their base program is, they're just not doing it. So that gives us the opportunity to reach into the community and make certain that our language can arouse interest, get folks to realize that, hey, they have an opportunity throughout the year to review their coverage, and most have an opportunity to change their coverage should it be appropriate. So that gives us then the talking points we need, and to emphasize the fact that many of the changes that may be necessary in their current programs is dictated by the coverage they have on medications. Well, plans, if it's integrated into an MA plan, a Medicare Advantage plan, or if it's a standalone program, that review can make a huge difference to them when it comes to their financial bottom line, and gives us the opportunity then to utilize governmental resources that they're not using, or the different systems that are set up by organizations such as Premier Marketing, to make certain that we can help them understand their options and do so in a compliant manner through information we send to them through one means or another. And we can do it year round. And we're going to see on some of these slides here, or the demonstration in just a moment, how the different election periods and the special election periods give us an opportunity to do business year round. It's a question of, hey, are we out in the middle of the desert screaming into the sky saying, hey, it's me, I want to help you? Or are we actually working with a community that can respond and say, hey, you may be eligible for change in your coverage, but we want to make certain that we're doing some different analysis in order to see if that's the right thing for you. And in order to do that, we've got to generate that interest. And so that's what we look to do today, because, hey, you got a bunch of special election periods out there based on weather and other circumstances that go beyond some of the things that we see year over year as a reason or an opportunity for folks to change coverage. And then can we do it in the manner in which the folks want to receive that information, virtually or in person, or a combination thereof? And that's one of the reasons why, when you deal with a strong marketing organization, Premier Marketing, or in addition to strong carriers, UnitedHealthcare, we have the opportunity to use software packages and other electronic means of reaching into the community, but also generating interest on that in-person basis. We have kind of a yo-yo effect, it seems sometimes, as to whether we can do things in person or not. We're an essential industry. We can do some things. We want to make certain, however, that we're doing it in a safe fashion. The information we have with UnitedHealthcare will allow us to do a presentation in either fashion, and with our support as well, we can deliver it in the fashion that's appropriate for the audience we're reaching to. Because, hey, they've learned now how to receive information electronically. They, the infamous they, the demographic we appeal to. And it's a lot of training that's been going on for 2 years now, where accessing care through their doctors, be it a primary care physician or a specialist, or doing some preliminary work for a hospital or a dentist, or even celebrating their faith in a virtual atmosphere. They're used to it now. We're used to it now. And this gives us the opportunity to leverage the tools and the support that are made available and reach folks in an appropriate manner. So let's look at how we can use some of the resources that United Healthcare provides us as contracted, certified agents with that organization to reach into the community and generate interest in the folks that we visit with. So, why first United Healthcare? Well, the numbers are there, plain and simple. You look in both categories of Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement. I didn't pull numbers for PDP, but you see that they're leaders in the markets, and in some markets dominate the market. So how can we make a difference and utilize the strength of this carrier to reach into the community? One, you got the name recognition. Two, then it's how can we utilize that to get folks to raise their hands? But the tool that we talk about right now, the United Healthcare Toolkit, is a really valuable resource that many folks aren't using. And part of it is, well, hey, I just haven't taken the time to use it. I am unfamiliar with the way you can navigate. Whatever the reason happens to be, you haven't got that round to it. Statistics show that folks that use these tools, particularly with United Healthcare, it makes a huge difference in their production. And that production can be pulled to rise all ships as well, because some of the things that we do in our cross-selling opportunities give us the opportunity to add on additional coverages, either immediately if it's a health product or down the road if it's not. It can take care of a number of challenges we have of reaching into the community, making certain that there are enough folks for us to speak to on a regular basis to drive our business. And this tool can be really helpful in that regard. And it's a variety of tools out there. There are a number of different pieces out there that give you the opportunity to utilize pre-programmed, so to speak, compliant pieces in multiple areas that's appropriate for the audience we're addressing. If they're looking as a T65 individual, well, gee, what are the differences with the different programs? Or, hey, I've got a Medicare supplement program. I'm shopping it. How can I get additional information? How can you help explain the differences between these programs? And the same thing with Medicare Advantage and PDP programs. A ton of information available right there in a singular place that we can access and use. And it's not just to drive business, because if you're in the Medicare space, you're not in this for one season. You're looking to build upon past efforts. You're looking to grow your book. You're looking to grow those renewals because, hey, Medicare Advantage plans with United Healthcare, it's lifetime commissions. And you see that with the AARP Medicare Supplements too, where the commissions will continue past what many consider a standard 6 or 7 year commission cycle. So some things that are there that can help us drive business, keep business, and be paid for it. So we want to make certain that we use a tool that is simple for us to access, simple for us to utilize, and keep us within compliance. And many of us feel that, hey, we can tweak some different things, we can make it appropriate, we want to file our own information. One of my first questions is why? You want to reinvent the wheel? And we'll demonstrate that much of the material that you're going to see here can really make a difference across the board without you having to go through the entire process and recreate everything that's already in play for you. So we begin by going to United Healthcare's agent website, to the Jarvis website, and we log in. And so let's do a demonstration basically of where we are in that scenario. because when we go to Jarvis and we log in, you got different options as to where you can go and different tools that you can access. I mean, this is a one-stop shop for you to check your applications, follow up on commissions, look at different tools that are available for you there, including some of their electronic means of enrollment, verifying additional information about the folks we visit, checking on our book of business. But then, of course, in the sales material, we've got a number of different things that we can utilize and take advantage of. And you don't have to create everything all yourself. And you'll see that, okay, John, it's going to have United Healthcare all over it. Well, in parts of the world, we want that. And then, of course, never overlook the possibility of generic material. And we'll talk about that in just a second. It also gives us access to the different pieces that are available to us to make certain that we are certified to offer the full portfolio. Because remember, even though if we've gone in and we've done our certifications for some of the base modules, some of the special needs plans, you need to do some additional work. Some of the things that you need to do for marketing in the community, there are additional certifications. And part of that is not to make certain that we all jump through a whole bunch of different hoops. Some of us aren't as nimble as we used to be in that regard. It's to make certain that you have the base knowledge that's there to maximize your success in that area, but also to keep us compliant and keep us in a position when we sell something, we actually get paid on it. And you have to have that requirement out of the way to do that. So as we go in, we log in and we go into sales and marketing materials, it's going to take us to this page. It gives us the opportunity to go in and order the materials for United Healthcare, the different sales pieces that are in there, things of that nature, the sales kits, basically. It gives us the opportunity to go in and purchase promotional items as well through their e-store. One of the things that I would make certain that you do in each of these categories is become a good friend of your local agent manager. Because if you're in a pinch and you order materials, you can do so electronically, you can print them off, you can do a bunch of wonderful things. We understand as well the expense per page on a color print. So your local management may well have those materials available, and by accessing that material through those folks, they're going to realize you're active with United Healthcare and make certain that they have you on their mindset, and they can help you in different activities, and make certain that, okay, if you need kits, they may have some on hand, you can pick them up, or they can help deliver, whatever it happens to be. And United Healthcare is very, very good about having feet on the street to help you in that regard. They also may well have access to promotional items that you can use for different community events and things of that nature. You'd want to make certain that you're working closely with your agent manager in order to access both of those pieces of material. But for today's discussion, what we're looking at is working through the toolkit and accessing material there, not only to help us market, but frankly, to give us ideas on different ways to market. So as we go through and we look at some of the different pieces that are available in the toolkit, it can make a huge difference for us, because boom, that might be that light bulb moment where all of a sudden it's like, well, I haven't been active in that space. I'm not familiar with that product, whatever it happens to be. We'll discuss that in just a moment. So you're going to click on that. It's going to launch the toolkit, and it's going to take you to this. You got to make certain that you stay active in it, or it's going to bump you out, and that's why I keep bouncing back and forth. But I want you to realize that this gives you that source for information and marketing materials, and it gives you then also the opportunity to do what you need to do in delivering the information. Like we mentioned earlier in the presentation, if we're doing this virtually and a whole bunch of folks, that's the way they want it now. Some of the folks that are aging into Medicare are much more comfortable in that situation too. Can we create that virtual consumer interaction with this carrier of choice? And how do we go about doing that? We have that opportunity. We peel down the website a little bit more. It gives us then the idea of how do we look at different ways of reaching into the community that aren't the usual, the old WKRP. I'm showing my age here. Herb Tarlick, where you got the plaid jacket. You're opening it up and say, hey, you want to buy a watch? We're not out there hustling stuff. We're out there to satisfy needs through a hustle, in a manner of speaking. And are we utilizing then some different avenues of reaching into the community that give us access where we haven't considered that in the past? So when you look in the different categories, this is going to give you ideas as to how am I going to use this product as a feature tool and be comfortable with it. One, that I'm certified in that area to make certain I get paid on the business, that I am also the individual that's reaching into that target niche market. Because when you look at programs such as chronic special needs plans, the CSNPs, we have a webinar coming up on those next week as well on talking about the different chronic special needs plans. It is an area that, well, it's dictated by health circumstances, obviously conditions, not so much income and assets like what we talk about in the next session. So this gives us an avenue to reach into different centers of influence in the community that deal with this population. And that doesn't mean the folks are going to be wheeling in a wheelchair, they're on oxygen, whatever it happens to be. That might be part of that audience. But there are a number of people that will qualify for chronic special needs plans that we still have the opportunity to help them in other areas. And these are folks then may have a greater realization of their circumstance, their mortality, wherever it happens to be, and gives us then an avenue to set up follow-up visits on additional topics that may be part of our portfolio. Do you have the means necessary to handle your final expenses? Are you looking at additional needs for dental, or when you go into the hospital and there are those additional expenses that are the daily rates in a Medicare Advantage plan for chronic special needs? Are there programs that can help me with those dollars that are necessary? So it gives you then discussion points, not only for that base program, but for other plans or other items of interest for that population that give you multiple selling opportunities. Now we got to be careful how we do that. We want to make certain that we're compliant. We have the scope of appointment to discuss the medical needs and the health circumstances. And then if we discover, hey, we got to talk about final expense, we got to talk about life insurance, that's a separate appointment. That's that 48-hour cooling off period. But you can talk about dental as long as it is properly addressed in the scope of appointment. You can talk about hospital indemnity plans, their health plans, even through that course of conversation, be it with an MA or a Medicare supplement plan. So it gives you that opportunity. Then you also have the opportunity of looking to that subset of another special needs program that deals with the dual population, the folks that have both Medicare and Medicaid. And what you see in this area is a distinct marketing opportunity that gives you the wherewithal to actually get paid twice. What are you talking about there, John? Well, with each of the categories that we have in handling someone's health coverage needs, we have the opportunity not only to be paid the commission, but also get paid that intrinsic value of, hey, we're really helping people out. And when you deal with a low income population, the extra benefits that you can deliver through a dual special needs program can make a huge difference in their life, where they don't have more month than they have more money, where we're able to help them throughout their life cycle in a month, and we are helping them to do so comfortably. We're not solving all their problems, obviously, but some of the extra social determinant of health benefits that we see in a special needs plan can make a big difference in supporting their needs there. We also then have the opportunity to look at some of the regular MA plans. We flipped through a slide that showed, gee, John, 20 plus special election periods. And then we got the special election periods. So what we have in the Medicare community are the majority of them, yeah, we're in lock-in or we're about to go into lock-in out of OEP, which OEP, you got to be careful how you market, all the lovely stuff there. But the majority of people on Medicare will qualify for a special election period. The catch is it in their best interest to utilize that special election period? And by reaching out to the folks, it gives us then the opportunity to help them determine that. Are they one of the 7 of the 10 that didn't review their plan? And all of a sudden we're in March and they're accessing some of their medications and the formulary on their plan changed. And all of a sudden it's a different economic circumstance, in a manner of speaking. Having these special election periods, get out of jail free cards, be flippant with it, that gives us the opportunity to directly address that need. And how do we reach out to folks during this time period to discover whether or not that's happening? And with different folks, depending upon how many medications they take, I mean, that might be happening through at least the first half of the year or beyond. So we can do some different things that are there. Medicare Supplements. Well, you have the relationship between UnitedHealthcare and AARP. That can be a bit of a mixed blessing sometimes, but it's a powerful organization that has additional marketing support and different programs that are brought about by that relationship through UnitedHealthcare and AARP that give us additional ways of reaching out to the community and looking to serve their needs. And let's be honest about it. AARP is the big monkey in this area, the big gorilla too. So depending upon the area you live in, are they shopping for price? Are they looking at what the increases are year over year? Are we looking at different plan types now? Or whatever the circumstance is, we've got ways of reaching into the MedSup community with the support of UnitedHealthcare and AARP, depending upon our contracting status and some of the things that we've done. Are we authorized to offer at a different level where we get even more support? Well, those are tools we can use to reach another segment of the population that is not looking for a network-driven plan. So we've got opportunity there. Same thing with prescription drug plans. We saw on one of the earlier slides from Kaiser Family Foundation where regardless of the base programs, folks aren't doing the year-over-year examinations. Well, this gives us the opportunity to touch on that hot button, and folks that have that little bit of gee, I got to do something about this because all of a sudden this medication on the plan I'm in, my copayment jumped. What's going on here? Or gee, all of a sudden it seems like I'm being charged full price on that medication. That might be the case. Maybe it went off formulary. Maybe it changed tiers, whatever it happens to be. Whatever means we need to use on a compliant basis to generate that interest in each of the categories on the base coverages they have with their Medicare coverages, how can we reach in the community and give us an opportunity to sell? This gives us detail in each of those different categories to do just that. What it's telling us too, and we are not even past the slides or the opening salvo of this website, is it's giving us additional information on things that we can use to make those impressions. And we see by some of the detail that's flipping through it, well, here right now, the ANOC member meeting. Some folks will still do that through the first quarter or beyond, and it is a bit of a, let's explain the coverages that you have right now with UnitedHealthcare. You're drawing in the audience. You're doing some things to maintain the persistency within your book of business, retaining the folks that you've already enrolled, but it's an opportunity for a bring a friend campaign. So you can have folks that will come in to this to learn more about the program that they're on, because let's face it, we don't always read all the information that's sent to us on our coverages. As agents, we probably are as guilty of that as anything, where we don't realize all of the details of our coverages until we go to use it. And this gives us the opportunity then to roll through and explain the coverages that are in play with the different types that are out there, and visit that annual notification of coverage, that ANOC, and do it through a community meeting as they're flipping through as now, either live or virtually. And then are we going to go to one of those subgroups where we're doing some marketing based on a particular qualification? And as this flips in just a moment, it's going to tell us once again that we can hold a community meeting We can learn more about how to do that, but we can do that to approach the dual special needs population, the dual beneficiaries. And what you have within United Healthcare are folks that are looking at different key areas, marketing key support for those areas. So when you visit with your agent manager in your community with United Healthcare, and you're talking to them about the different ways of generating more business to benefit you both and the organizations you work with, your agency, United Healthcare's market folks, and how that can affect everyone's bottom line, that gives us then the opportunity to get that additional support from local management as well, and to make certain that you're in the cycle of, well, boy, are there opportunities to sell with leads that you're generating as a carrier? Is there an opportunity to sell some United Healthcare business with United Healthcare generated leads? And in certain markets, that may well be the case. It also gives us the opportunity to go in and visit about the different special election periods, because regardless of what the commercials on television tell us and confuse the population overall, um, we're not always in an open enrollment period, but they're all are the special election periods that, as we've discussed ad nauseum already today, an opportunity to change things on an ongoing basis. So let's look at some of the marketing material that's available in order to do that. It also gives us then the additional product information, so we know what we're talking about once we get the marketing opportunity set up and ready to go. So you've got a number of different things right on the front page of the toolkit that can really help you within marketing and communications, and do so not only to drive new business, but keep the business on the books that you've got. You also have some really cool little functions in here that are kind of just hidden that give us the opportunity to look for some things specifically for the campaigns that we're looking to do. We've got an idea as to how we want to reach out into the community. We're working with United Healthcare or want to work with United Healthcare in approaching that community for one reason or another. How can we find the material that we can use to drive interest and drive attendance and drive enrollments? So looking at some different things that can come to that, let's look at the different pieces that are here. So starting with the first category, when we go into chronic special needs, let's explore some of the possibilities. Let's let it think a bit. It's going to pull up some different things that are enabling us to look at different pieces that are out there. And these are an opportunity to utilize local pieces with United Healthcare that addresses this product. We look at this page right off the bat, we've got a number of different things that come into play. For the folks that are dealing or are pursuing the turning 65 audience, keep in mind many of the carriers are prepping that audience, some of them at 63 and a half, at 64. So they're sending out information to the population turning 65 and laying the groundwork for us to utilize some of the outreach where, hey, you're going to deal with a local agent in this regard. So you got a really cool series on getting started with Medicare. And their Medicare Made Clear series is awesome because it gives you pre-printed material, tangible material that you can use in the community, and in many cases still personalize it with our contact information. And that can be a big, big advantage to us. The Medicare Made Clear guides. When we did things more tactily or we had to have different pieces to hand out, I used to order these in bulk, which you can as well. There are certain limits as to how to do that. But if you are doing a Medicare 101 piece and you're featuring United Healthcare, which can be a second series within that, where you're doing a generic Medicare 101 to start, and then you're rolling into different options within that, not only options within the Medicare arena, but options within an option. So, hey, we're looking at the different Medicare Advantage programs in our market. These are some of the things that we can do. Having a piece that is beautifully printed, available without cost to us, shipped to us, with certain limitations as to numbers, but it gives us then the opportunity where if we're doing a live meeting, we can kick out detail where they have information to study, which studies have shown a whole bunch of folks are doing their preliminary legwork before they talk to anybody. It gives us then the opportunity to make certain they have additional detail from us, information that they have pulled through their interest and that they're looking at to help us go through and visit about the choices that they have. We have a lot of talk as well on dealing with the veteran community. We did a webinar on that last week, a long one. I apologize for some of you who might have had the mind can absorb only what the butt can endure type of status there, but you got different material that's available there to reach out to that segment of the community. So if you're active in that space, there are a number of carriers that are pursuing that vociferously. Wanted to use that word. UnitedHealthcare is one of them. They got some really cool material that can help you, and it's customizable in that regard. It gives you then the support that you need if you're working a retail opportunity. Walmart doesn't allow it, but UnitedHealthcare has their own retail opportunities too. It gives us then that piece that even if that's not an active venue right now, many cases these pharmacies will still allow your material in there. And a lot of it, if it's backed by UnitedHealthcare, they're willing and able to make certain that material is available to their clientele, to the folks that visit them, with your information on it. So it's an ongoing way of marketing through a concentrated follow-up of an event that we did in the fall in many circumstances. So that gives us the resource of reaching into the community for folks that are turning 65 and are accessing their medications, don't realize the ramifications of a whole bunch of what they've selected, or folks that are looking to turn 60 or are about to turn 65. There are some of us that are looking to turn 65, hoping we make it, in a manner of speaking. But it gives us that way of staying in front of and leveraging the work that we've put in the past, our blood, sweat, and tears investment from the fall, so we can continue reaping the rewards of doing that on an ongoing basis. You've got here too a really good resource guide on marketing from UnitedHealthcare. If you haven't accessed this, please do so. It's big enough that if I download it, it's difficult to send it to you without Dropbox or something of that nature. You can go in, log it in, pull it down yourself, read through it. Great tips in there. And what you see in much of this material as well is it's available in multiple languages. So if you're working niche markets in the community, ethnic markets, Healthcare does as good a job or better than most carriers when it comes to making that material available in multiple languages and doing so in a fashion that is still compliant. Because one of the challenges you have, if you have an English piece and you say, man, I'm going to translate that into Spanish, or I'm going to translate that into Korean, or I'm going to translate that into Sanskrit. I don't care what language it is. If you do that, it's no longer compliant. We want to make certain that we're utilizing the tools that are already out there. We're not reinventing the wheel, and that it's a filed document that keeps us safe, so to speak, and do the things that we need to do in order to reach into our community that we're looking to serve. Looking at some different pieces that are there, you can run through some different things here to make certain that you see, gee, there's a lot of support material in there that can be helpful. But when we talk about special needs programs and the chronic special needs programs, what you're seeing with United is once again an expansion of these plans in many markets where they weren't available before. And remember, a chronic special needs plan, if a person qualifies for it, it will create that special election period that you can use once a year per condition to reach into the community and perhaps address shortfalls in their current choices of coverage based on certain health conditions. Remember, we're going to do a generic presentation on chronic special needs plans next week. But boy, that helps us now, doesn't it, John? This, however, will give you the opportunity to look at some of the different marketing material that's out there, and you will see an enthusiasm in many markets where this is a new plan with local United Healthcare management that can create additional marketing opportunities. They may help you get into certain centers of influence to market their programs because of their contacts. And gee, no one else is asking for this. Chronic special needs plans. Okay, that's an avenue to pursue. We need to make certain that we can take advantage of that. But you'll also see that if we're looking for additional needs on the base programs, some of that, well, dental's a huge thing all the time. But look, you've got some help too with dental, with hearing benefits, pardon me. And that gives you then another center of influence in the community that you can approach for your services, the things that you're able to offer to that provider. So audiologists may all of a sudden be a way of generating additional interest in you and the programs that you offer. And keep in mind the base benefits or the benefits that are part of an MA plan. Well, you can also layer on other fee-for-service programs, other dental, vision, hearing programs that will pay in addition to this. And what you see on a lot of the benefits here, particularly hearing aids, since many of them are fairly expensive, they're limited as to how often you can utilize the benefit. Was it one a year, one every 2 years, whatever it happens to be? Even if the benefit is there, it may not fully cover the expense of that hearing aid. So layering on additional programs, which is permissible in the initial appointment, if you have it marked on that scope of appointment, it rolls into a discussion of that additional product that can make a big difference for you. And we have that same situation when you look at vision benefits. So going to ophthalmologist, optometrist, whomever it is to help with that. It provides a service to that provider as well too, because they can sell more of their services, and it gives you then the opportunity to have yourself as a referable resource because you're in there pressing the flesh, shaking hands, kissing babies, making people aware of what you have available and how that can make a difference to that provider as well, the service that they're providing to the community. So you look through a whole bunch of these different categories. There's some different things that are really helpful for us. Remember, I mentioned that getting started with Medicare, we looked at an English one. Well, here's the Spanish version. You're in Texas. That's really, really helpful. You got different pieces, once again, to support activities within the veterans community. Go to our website for some additional detail on how we can help in that area as well. But then we look at some of these other programs and we see, different language that comes into play. So you got different opportunities based on CSNPs. You have the same opportunities when we look into the dual community, different pieces that directly address that. Give us some ideas as to what's a hot button here in that area. Well, maybe it's that over-the-counter benefit. And if it's an over-the-counter benefit, who's supplying that? Is it through a catalog? Yeah, for a degree, but there might be local contacts. Is that Walgreens? Is it Walmart? Is it CVS? Who are they using in your particular area to provide that benefit? And that gives you then the opportunity to approach that center of influence, that provider within the community, and deliver upon that as well. And you've got a ton of different pieces in here that can help specifically for that market. What we're finding with many of our partners that help us with direct mail, this is one of the areas where we're getting some of the best response off of direct mail still, and that's working with the dual community. It is a special needs community. It gives us the opportunity to utilize that SEP once a quarter for the first 3 quarters, and then use the annual election in the 4th. But it gives us the opportunity to market to that community year round. And what United does as well is it also helps us determine have they already used that SEP, or what level of assistance they have. And the support that United does through their producer help desk can give you that information. So can the website here too, this previous website. Because remember, under sales and marketing, it talks to us about the different pieces that are there, but under tools, we have the opportunity to see what their qualifications are. So you can couple the two together and make a big difference when it comes to marketing the different pieces. Let's look at then, come on here. You hear the Jeopardy music going there in the background? You have that same possibility when we go through the different categories. I'm talking long here and there's some different pieces here, but there's one of the things that I really want to show you as well is, okay, this is a preeminent carrier. But if you guys remember the old Christmas movie, Miracle on 34th Street, where all of a sudden the Santa Clauses are talking about, well, we don't have that product here at Macy's, but they do at Gimbel's. We're not looking to take interest generated by UnitedHealthcare and send it to another carrier. What we're looking to do is there a possibility of utilizing a generic approach that raises hands, and then we can transition into the program that is the best fit for our audience, for our prospect, for our client. And this is a very nice way of utilizing some of those pieces that, well, sometimes a generic piece just gets a better response than something that's labeled with a carrier. And look at this. When we go into a search function with this, 816 different pieces in there. You want to do a birthday campaign? You got it. You want to do an ANOC presentation? You got it. You want to talk about some of the ancillary services and how that can reach into the community? Okay. You want to make certain that your folks are recognized by their birthday or thanking them for the business. It gives us that opportunity to do so. But let's do this just for chuckles and grins and see what it pops up. Wow. Generic. What's that mean, John? Well, that means it's no longer a name brand drug. No, come on. What I'm talking about here is an opportunity to use some different pieces that are available from United Healthcare. And let's make certain that this is going to do what we need it to do. Pardon me, because you can print them, sometimes your local market will make that available to you too, where they'll help absorb some of the costs. There's some things that possibly we can do there, but you can download it and print it at a piece, or we can utilize this as a format. And with the direct mail partners that we have, we can get them the piece, have them do it as part of the service that they provide. And look at that. Okay. Wow, nice color. It's got my contact information. Gee, I can even put my picture on it, even though John Doe here appears to be a lady. Well, maybe it's Juanita. I don't know. It gives us then the opportunity to look at some of the different pieces that we can use. It doesn't have United Healthcare written all over it. So you might have some folks that are going, hey, I really need to get some more information. This person is having a meeting in this particular area. I need to go and I need to learn more about what it takes to select a Medicare plan. So we can do some different pieces in there in color, coordinate with other support programs that we have in play to make it work to our advantage. And this can be really, really valuable because you don't have to recreate the wheel. And there may be, of course, choices from the different direct mail houses that we utilize, and we vet their correspondence as well. But this is another way, another option of reaching into the community. And we're taking this and we're making certain that our local support within United Healthcare is aware of our efforts and see what they can do to pony up to the bar to help us sell more business. That can make a big difference. So it gives us then the details. We customize it with our information. We make certain that it's a product that we are fully certified for. It's not going to let me do that until I fill stuff out. I'm going to skip that for the moment. But it gives us then the opportunity to leverage material that United's created that we can use in different key areas on a name brand basis, on a generic basis, whatever it happens to be, and then deliver that information on a live opportunity, through a seminar, through personal interaction, whatever it happens to be, or on a virtual basis. Because they too have some wonderful things to do when it comes time to consummate that relationship and making certain that, hey, we've gone through the presentation. We want to make certain that we deliver upon not only the presentation and the delivery of the information, but we give our audience the opportunity to make that change. And that can be a huge difference. So you have different pieces here too that basically can serve as your presentation and give you the different ways of delivering that message. Is it live or is it virtual? Are we reaching out to folks through different media pieces where this is an insert that we're going to use through newspapers? Yeah. Is this a way of using social media? Ooh, that's a possibility. Are there different things we need to do to make certain that folks are engaged in how we can do it? So one of the things that I strongly urge everyone to do, because toolkits with every carrier are underutilized. And a lot of it is, well, we don't realize that it's there. We get inundated with a whole bunch of email, even though United's sending us out information on their newsletters, we're kicking out information. Do you open and read every one of your emails? Bless you if you do. Some of us scan some of the different pieces, whatever it happens to be. The details there. And some of the best ways of discovering what fits your marketing philosophy currently, or ideas on how you can expand that, well, that might be a trip down the yellow brick road here, so to speak, and make certain that we realize this is out there. We don't have to recreate everything. The support is there. You got that United Healthcare name. They're still advertising on television. We've seen a little bit of those third-party call center presentations wane a wee bit. JJ's still out there. The different Joes are still out there too. But a lot of that just created confusion and complaints. But if we're able to reach folks and help them realize we're a local agent, we're licensed, we're certified, we're satisfying everything we need to do to deliver information to them on the different options that they have available. And we're doing so in a fashion not to confuse them, but to clear up the atmosphere and make certain they realize what their choices are. In many markets, you find that that best choice may well be United Healthcare, the networks that are part of it, the benefits that are part of it, the 5-star plans they have in many markets, the additional ways of marketing into those subsets of the community can be a huge advantage to us. So going in and playing with the site just a little bit, investing a little bit of the time that you have, because that's a limited resource and I'm using a bit of it today. Well, that gives us then the opportunity to look at, is there things out there that I can use to support what I'm currently doing? Or, boy, that's an idea on some things I can do to add to my own personal marketing plan and make it work. I sat on a webinar just before this one started that speaks to us about accessing things through faith-based communities, the different things that are out there. You have that material available in many circumstances to help support those efforts. And you don't think local management with folks are going to look at you a little bit differently if you come to them with a proposal of, here's some of the things I found on the websites. The toolkit gives me this information. This is what I'm looking to do. Hey, how can you help me make it successful, as successful as possible? And you're going to get the response that you need from a powerhouse carrier in your market that broadens your horizons, your target audience, and help you be successful in that space. So looking at some of the things that we can do here at Premier to help you be successful here too with one of our strongest partners in the Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement and PDP space is, how can we do things as efficiently as possible? Well, we've got a contracting system through SurancePay that will help you add those additional programs that you can layer on to some of these benefits. So you need some DVH, dental, vision, hearing help, or you need a hospital indemnity plan, or whatever it happens to be. Create a profile in this system, contract electronically, you can get it up and going. If you haven't contracted with United Healthcare, you need to. We would actually send a direct electronic link, or paper contracting if you prefer. Don't do paper, it slows everything down. Our handwriting stinks, everything else. But this is a way that you can make certain your portfolio can handle all of the needs of the people that are being generated, the interest of the folks that are being generated through these various campaigns. And we can protect your backside as well. So we discount errors and admissions coverage for qualified agents. Well, make sure you're a qualified agent. You got a contract with us. But this is a program you own. It will cover you for that requirement that insurance carriers have, that you have your own, finger quotes working, malpractice insurance, that E&O coverage. You own it. So it's not adding you to a blanket E&O policy. It'll cover you for the insurance programs that are out there that require E&O, and just about everyone does, no matter who you contract with. Obviously, we'd want it to be with us as well. There's a discount if you're working through our carriers only, but we're offering this coverage to make certain we protect you across the board. And we look to help make certain that your license stays in play by discounting continuing education programs through our association with WebCE. And you give an opportunity to increase your own benefit package. So as an independent agent, you want to protect your income or ability to generate income. Here's a modified guarantee issue program for disability insurance that you're paid a commission on when you sell yourself. A great way to add to your own benefit package. Much as where today's presentation is being recorded, past presentations are as well, available on our website and on our YouTube channel. And it's amazing how you can then bundle these different training programs to, okay, I've discovered I'm going to pursue the veterans community. John, you mentioned you did a webinar last week on that, a long one, by golly. I don't want to sit through an hour and 15 all at once, even though I might, because boy, you're an interesting fella. Thank you, maybe not. But it gives you then the opportunity to plug in those different sections, learn more about how to approach the VA community, utilizing some of the tools you got available through United. Same thing with dual special needs plans, chronic special needs plans, Medicare Advantage programs. You can go through there for different items of interest and make certain that we're taking care of you in that regard. You do, as a contracted agent with United Healthcare, that might be one of the contracts you have with us, but contracting through Premier gives you access to Medicare Center without cost. Okay, that reveals I'm an old MA agent where I have a hard problem with the word free, but it's there for you to use. So you have access to a system where you have a singular logon. You got 3 different quoting engines in there, powered by Connexure, Sunfire, and CSG to help in all areas of Medicare coverages, and in one circumstance, add on additional ancillary services. Great way to do the quoting. Pull the scope of appointment you need, store it for that 10-year period if you sell them or not. Utilize the CRM that comes with it and the resource center that's part of that program. Invaluable resource to make certain that you're showing, here's choices, here's how United Healthcare stacks up against 2 of the competitors. Well, since MA and PDP program max compensation set by the government, and most carriers, that's where they go with it anyway. There are other programs, however, such as Med Subs, dental, vision, hearing, final expense, that may have carrier incentives that will help with some additional dollars, may help you qualify for carrier trips and Premier incentive programs as well. We have a page on our website that puts all that information in a singular place, so you can make certain that you're getting all you deserve as part of marketing those programs as well. We help put you in front of folks too. That contact list, well, you can cold call for MedSup. You can't for MA. You can't cold call for AARP MedSup. Please, dear God, don't do that. Good way to lose your contract. But a lot of folks are doing that for dental, or an increasing number, I should say, because you see a premium change on dental programs from 64 to 65. What you're doing there is you're filling your sales funnel with a T65 audience that you can address later as well. You have the opportunity to go in and make certain that you're maximizing your investment in retail marketing. through AEP and beyond. How do you go about doing that? How do you approach faith-based organizations? How do you work with providers? We've got those different programs out there to help you in that regard. And as I mentioned, sometimes when you scratch someone's back, they're going to scratch yours back. And the carriers may have prospects available for you as well. So if you do business on an ongoing basis with United, working with local management, they may have folks that you can visit with. It all depends on your market, your relationship, and in some cases, your production. But it's a great way to access additional folks to speak to through marketing efforts outside of your own. We do have internet lead and direct mail support as well, a T65 locator, and a referral program that helps you not only through the sales process for folks that are buying from you, but for folks that aren't as well, and a way to go back and revisit your book. The direct mail is based on production, deeply drives down that cost. You can qualify for the assistance in two ways through the health programs, Medicare Advantage, PDP, HIP, hospital indemnity programs, the dental vision hearing programs, whatever it happens to be, drive down that cost. But there's another program for final expense if you're active in that area as well. We use different vendors to do that, where you go through these vendors with the approved letters that are in play, and sometimes injecting in pieces that you pull off of the toolkit can be part of it as well. It's a great way for us then to make certain that you're able to utilize that program as quickly as possible, as consistently as possible, and get the best return out of it too. You do also have the opportunity to access direct mail where you're purchasing responses. Now these will vary from market to market, time to time in the market that you have, but you're accessing folks that have raised their hand saying, I want information on this in this category, and you can buy it just on a one-off to fill in your calendar or use it as a critical portion of your overall marketing efforts. The internet leads we offer are through Facebook, generated through Facebook, the campaign for final expense, and for Medicare as well. You'll see some this in more generalities or aimed at the med sup market in order to make certain we stay compliant, but a great way of getting some instant gratification in a manner of speaking. But just as soon as they are accessing things through quickly, you got to respond quickly off of internet leads too. At T65 locator, well, if you're one of those folks that market final expense, or if you're marketing med sups, or if you're looking at, hey, I'm out there offering dental programs, you can door knock. Please, dear God, don't do that for MA or PDP program. But this is a program you can download to your smartphone, register on it, shows you're contracted with us to utilize it without cost. Once again, that JJ Walker, it's free type of campaign. It'll lay out for you where these people actually live. Great way of reaching into the community there, filling time between different appointments, whatever it happens to be. I mentioned that referral program where it coaches us as to how do we work through the sales process, asking people for referrals without them realizing that's what we're doing, mining for it. We can do that same thing by utilizing the resources, the information we have in the CRM that we've put there through Medicare Center, and go back and visit our book as well and mine that population for folks we can speak to. The referral process that comes as part of it. We do all this because, hey, we want your business. We want to generate as much activity as possible for you. Give us the opportunity to sell as much as we can, doing it properly, and utilizing tools that are provided to us by our primary and secondary carriers. And let's face it, if you're in the Medicare Advantage space, UnitedHealthcare is going to be a primary carrier for you and a great way for you to market. So utilizing this tool, accessing the toolkit, going in and playing with it a little bit, or utilizing some of the presentations that you can download or whatever it happens to be, make that part of your marketing plan, because it will give you the opportunity to maximize the benefit or the effort that you're putting into some of the things you're doing currently. As I mentioned a bit earlier, it gives you the opportunity to add to different ways of reaching into the community that you may not have considered that, gee, there's support right here in this toolkit to make it happen. And if you're contracted and certified with UnitedHealthcare, there's no delay. It's John Wayne and the Cowboys. You're slapping a piece of bacon in that biscuit. You're saddling up and riding because you're burning daylight. That's what you're doing here. you're being able to do some things immediately, put them in play. If you're not contracted, not certified, we take care of that process so you'll have access to these systems and make certain that they work for you. So all that said and done, I'm going to check really quickly to see if there are some questions that came into play that I didn't address through the course of the conversation we've had. And Chatty Cathy here has done that. It appears that we don't have any questions. I want to make certain at this time that we're past the hour, that I thank you for the investment of your time with us here today. Hopefully you're able then to go in and invest a little more time to make certain that you are, pardon me, utilizing all the resources you have available. You may not have been aware of some of the stuff that's out there. It's there for you to use. I thank you for taking the time to learn more about the support that United Healthcare can offer you through their toolkit. I want to thank you guys that are contracted with us and have done some business with us. I thank you for the business. For those of you considering to do so, I thank you for that opportunity as well. In the meantime, however, until we're able to communicate with you and our outreach programs, give us a call, 1-800-365-8208, or visit us at our website at premiersmi.com. Look at the different programs and resources that are available there. You can contact us through that as well. Your marketers will be following up with you. You can respond to the email I'm going to send out with further detail on this, including a link to the presentation, the different things that we can do to help that makes certain that it works for you. And pardon me, we're then going to go into, I have a question that popped up, and pardon me, I want to make certain that I answer that. No, we got it covered. So all that said and done, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to visit with you. I thank you for the investment of your time. And until we're able to visit again, I wish you good selling. Thanks so very much. Let's talk soon.